Good morning, welcome to Friday's live trading. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 27th of March. So just a reminder, actually, some of you may have seen it out there, but if you haven't, we've got 2 free days in our live trading room next week. That's the 1st and 2nd of April. So if you want to join me, join us I should say, come and join Charlie and myself. Come, just click on there's a link there'll be a link on the bottom of the video here. Just come and register, and Sam will send you details, and you'll be able to log in on the 1st and 2nd, or 1st or 2nd, or whatever time you like. So that's just a quick reminder if you hadn't seen that so far. Okay, let's I'm going to look just briefly, show you what I'm looking at these markets this morning very quickly. We've got the pound that's run into its 21 daily 21 here. It's not moving too much at this stage. I'm wondering, was it going to roll or not? There's a bit of divergence on the 4 hourlies here, and we've got a certain divergence. This is a 30-minute chart, but it's also on a 60-minute chart. We've got divergence on the pound. The euro also, a similar picture really. We're just finding some support off this 30-minute 50 where we're sitting here. Again, it's diverged on the hourlies and 30 minutes, and we've seen this sort of bearish bar here. It's actually a bearish pivot swing there on the 4 hourly, so maybe it's got some continuation to the downside. And once again, it's run into the daily 200. Of course, this current bar is not closed, so there's little we can do with it from that point of view, but we can see that it's run into that 200, and look then at the smaller time frames to see if this is the beginning of a bit more of a correction, or whether it's just a retracement amongst its in its current trend. So that's why I'm sitting at the moment. I'm going to pause this for a moment. So we may have something setting up here. I'm just looking at this pound. It's run into its 8 o'clock pivot this morning. It's shaping up a little bit. You could argue, some people may argue, on the bigger time frames there's a bit of divergence going this way. So between the lows. So looking like on the MACD, it's sitting there on the MACD as well. The divergence on this short time frame. So I say as well, it's not really on my RSI because it's worked its way off. So, but if we see a breakdown of this, back down of this monthly S3, maybe I'll be looking for something. But at this moment, I'm just being patient. The euro, likewise, it's just a case of patience here. It's run back up into, or pretty close into, its 30-minute 21s. It's run into some 30-minute resistance potentially here. The 30-minute 8. The 8's crossing 21. It's all looking a bit sort of bearishy looking from that point of view, but patience is needed here. Dragging. So ticket ready on the pound to sell, maybe on the break of this S3 here. Got to be a bit careful. It has previous around about this level. I'm seeing the euro is slipping down as well, so ticket is ready and potentially going to sell in a few minutes, but just waiting for it just to trigger. Now there is the potential it could just trigger and bounce back. We'll see. Get this a bit at this time in the morning. What time is it? 8:25. It's not too bad in terms of time at this stage. So very much a statistical trade here. But fingers are poised. Euro's rolling as well, so it gives me a bit of confidence in terms of it may roll, but I'm not yet there. We've got close on 80% chance of that daily pivot being hit at some point. I'd rather it be now. So kicking on the sell button here, so sold. Now I put a 25 pip stop on this initially, and that's going to be my limit on that for now. We're sitting there, that's just taking me over the 21.96 area, so that's where I am at the moment. So short with a target there of 20.80. I'll leave it about a 5 pip there, so what's it, 20.85 let's go for. So it's about 85 pips there if it was to run straight down towards that daily pivot. So there we are, short with a 25 pip stop. It's about an 85 pip target at this stage. Okay, so just got stopped on my first attempt at shorting this pound this morning. It was starting to roll quite nicely, or slowly, but I say nicely, it was rolling okay. Just had this spike come through here. No idea what's caused this. I will look at retrading this. I'm actually resetting the ticket as I speak. Goodness knows what's caused that price action. I've got the ticket ready, but I'll just wait a moment and see what's going on here. You get these spiky actions in these odd markets at times, but sitting here patiently again now. So I just brought this chart down to a 1 minute chart. You can see a 50 pip spike on a 1 minute chart here. No idea what caused it. It was moving in the right direction. It was a bit slow. It was doing what it was doing. The trade itself is still there to be probably had, but for a moment I'm sitting on the sidelines waiting. So just looking, as I say, just looking back at this spike here, I've been looking at my news service just to see if something had happened or whatever else. There's no excuse for this. It's just happened. A 50 pip spike on the market. I'm still looking to see whether I can get back into a short on the pound. It's sport a little bit for me, but and it was a bit. I was just discussing in the trading room here that it was between that and the euro this morning. The euro I left alone a little bit more because it had a lesser. Sorry, let me put this to a 5 minute. It had a lesser target, and in addition to that, the pound's been a bit weaker. So the euro's still trudging its way down there. The extra liquidity has probably helped it. But it's just that lighter liquidity, I guess, that we get with the pound compared to the euro, and there's fat fingers, whatever it may be, that caused that. But that said, it is now going up, so it may be that was it. I was looking at a 30-minute chart here, and it's 30-minute 50 is not that far below. Well, it's a bit quick for people to start buying, but you never know what's just gone through there. It's over. So looking at this cable game, if it breaks this low very soon, this recent low at about 9:30 low, and I'm just about to sell once again. It's no idea why that spike occurred, not really bothered. These things happen, but I will target wise same sort of target, but it's not happening. Look at that. So I'm leaving the pound for now. It's made my decision up for me how to keep away from something, because it's just taught you a lesson in patience and leaving things alone. So I'm going to sit aside on that. It'll be later now. So I just switched across the euro here. The euro caught its daily pivot. It's done the statistical trade. It may continue to roll over from here. Cleaner in that respect. I liked the pound earlier better, but there we are. The pound has gone odd, so it can carry on being odd when I'll leave it alone. So for now, just admiring the very fact that the euro has ticked off things now. Now with the euro, if it was to start reversing back from here, I would need to see it breaking back above its 50, above that 8, close above that 8 would be nice. Then I would look for a continuation of the bigger trend potentially. So that's why I'm sitting there. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. So just coming to the end of my morning session in our trading room, and well, things have gone. Cable has become very bitty, although I sort of like the change to the upside potential here. I've become a bit lacking in trust in the price action, and it's sort of keeping me away from it. I have a high probability of this pivot being hit, so always when it's coming down like this, it becomes a key point for me to be trading towards. Now obviously it's changed. It's run off its 4 hourly 8 here, I've noticed. So that's where it's found its current support. So I'm just leaving it now. It's moved into the 10 o'clock zone. I don't generally take trades unless they're bang on or pretty close to the time. We often run into a point between 10, 12, maybe longer sometimes, of where it just gets into a bit of a drift. So there's no point being in taking a new trade into new risk at that point. That said, this pound may just go off. Looking aside of that, the euro, I was quite looking at to see if interested in see if it broke these highs, get back through that above that 30-minute 50, for example, and would be a bit more bullish again, but it's slow at this stage. It's had a reaction already to that 30-50 from the underside there. It's gone back up, left it. Why am I looking on the upside here? Well, really, it's whether or not this divergence has worked itself off the top here. We'll see, but the bigger trend here on the 4-hour is nicely up there, and that's just seeing if this is just a retracement in that 4-hourly movement. So it's, as I say, it's ticked the box statistically on the hourlies there. So I feel like, well, maybe when I come back later, if this is still on, I'll look for the upside. But it is going into that area or period when I'm not so keen on the trades. So breakfast it is for me. So returning from breakfast then, and the early morning break here, looking at the euro, the pound actually I'll do first, because this was what I was looking for shorting earlier on, and well, it didn't work earlier on. Kept out of it, stayed away, it rallied back up to the highs there, so it's retested the highs. Where to now? Goodness knows. It's got into quite a mess, pound here. It had quite a nice move up there eventually. Very bitty around this point here, the spike. Goodness knows why that happened, doesn't really matter. I did see actually, I don't know if I can bring it on here. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Get the right picture in. You have to look on Facebook for that. But we had these orders building up at this level earlier. Just net buy orders, and it may have just been those net buy orders. If the price just started moving up, it may have been enough to trigger those to continue. So, but it really, as I say, it really doesn't matter. Price has pushed up, and it's well, since retraced, it's looking bitty. It's best to stay away from it. I'm not too sure where that's going. It looks, if anything, like it might ride over. Now, I am looking at the euro. The euro, from looking back here, it's bounced off its daily pivot. It's had a bit of a bounce around these levels. I was looking for a break earlier on. If it had done it straight away, I'd have been a bit more interested if it bounced and broke through the 50, the 8, etc. Being a bit more convincing. But these tails and these dojis, and they don't convince me. But they're through a very softer point of the day. If you look at the volumes that come through in a day, actually, if you just look at the volume compared to going back to yesterday, it's quite light today, and quite often you'll see the volumes come down through the sort of 10 o'clock sort of zone. The volumes are slightly lowering at this point, and you'll see it yesterday, look, dropping off and then peaking a bit more. It's a bit more pronounced yesterday. Anyway, so dropping off a little bit at the moment, or through that period, so you can't trust it quite so much. So what I'm looking for is to see if we can get a push through. Now, I could just buy, but of course it might just roll. At 12 o'clock we have a new pivot comes in, a 12 o'clock pivot. I like my 4-hour pivots, they've got a good probability of being hit. So if price started moving up a bit, even now, it was a short while ago, it was pushing up, I don't really want to be taking a long at that point, because I know from the range of where price has been in the last 4 hours that the average is going to be lower, so it's going to draw price back, potentially draw price back down. So I'm sitting here patiently now until post 12 o'clock. So I was looking at this euro, and I'll just go through the time frames here. Looking at the 60-minute, it's starting to look like it may roll over some more. I was looking specifically at the 60-minute 50 maybe, or 30-minute 100, whichever way you want to look at it. See, it bounced off the 34 earlier on. It's pulled back. I thought at one stage rather it might push on. It's run out of legs. The pound in the time it did that little up bar there went all the way back up to its previous high, then rolled over, and that's rolling over as well. I'm looking at this now with the intention to sell, and I'm looking at quite liking selling where it is. I've just got a ticket. I'm just getting a ticket ready. Make sure I've got the right size on there. There we go. I have a ticket ready sitting here at this stage. I'm just watching it for a moment. What time is it? 12:09. 12:15 is the euro fix. 6 minutes. May pay to hold it. Hold on. Let's just see what happens. But this is why I'm sitting watching at the moment. So just a bit more waiting for a moment. So still waiting. It's nearly 12:15. We get the euro 12:15 fix. So I'm just waiting for that to occur. and then I'll be looking at the potential short here. So finger is poised over my sell button, just waiting to see if it breaks down here. The pound all of a sudden has taken a little bit of a kicker, and this is why I've refrained from doing it until 12.15 came. Sometimes you'll see it with the euro as well, it just takes a bit of a kicker. Pound's a bit more easy to manipulate, slightly smaller volumes. So holding on. Okay, so euro sold here. Just sold the euro at this stage. Just put a 25 pip stop, and I just reassessed that. I did that automatically because a little bit it's sitting at 11.02. Don't want to put a massive stop on this because of the 111.02. Let's just check that 111.02. It's well out the way there. That's fine. Okay, I'll leave that for a moment. I just want to assess the target is the 60-minute 50. Or hourly 100 is the hourly hundreds on here. Let me make the 60-minute chart because it's a bit clearer. There we go. So 60-minute 50-ish is the area. So we're looking at 0960-ish, let's say, on there. Okay, so just adjusting the position here in terms of stops now. So the target is 109.60. It's about 42 pips away from the entry. Stop wise, actually just corrected that. Notice it was preset on 100 pips there. Just changed that somewhat. That's a little bit fat to make 60. And looking at the moment at 102. 1023. Okay, that's up here. That's out of the way. If it starts pushing from here, well, chances are I push on through. I could put it at 1034 or somewhere like that, somewhere further up. But well, I'm just gonna. I'm quite happy at 1023. 1020. Yeah, 1023 would do. So we're just coming down here, the price just almost on target here, almost there. So I do wonder with this, it's just running into its 4 LES2 actually, but I do wonder, I was just talking in the trading room here, whether this will actually continue through to next week. So it's a thing to watch out for if this move continues. I'm quite happy of closing off if it gets to target here. I'm not looking to hold it for more. In fact, it's probably reacting to that sort of level as we speak. Just a few more pips there. The moving average has moved up somewhat. Let's just check on the 30 minutes if it's hit 30 minutes. Sometimes you just get there's slight variations in the no, it's okay. It hasn't done that. That's fine. But it has run back in and finding a little bit of support momentarily into the monthly pivot here. But whether this will roll over next week, we will have to wait and see. Okay, so target just been hit here at into that 60.50. So that's really it on the live trading video for me for today. I'm not going to go too much. I will just summarize the trading, what we did today. We took 2 trades. The first one was on the pound this morning. I'm just going to run through this and let's just summarize that. So we were looking quite early this morning. Come back to here. Just waiting for a bit of a breakdown. Got my breakdown that I was looking for. Yeah, I could have gone in a bit earlier, but was just waiting and patient. I don't like going in too early because this could have just seen the bounce through and followed with a trend, which as it happened it did do. It stops us out quite quickly on this 50 pip at a 1 minute bar that turned into there, but it doesn't really matter. And the pound became a mess, so we left the pound. There was a time back here which I was looking to short it again, but decided to leave it alone. The euro looks safer. The volumes on these markets have dropped off. Now, looking at the euro, then we shorted the euro. We waited a bit of time, just until quarter past, and when it's broke the sort of level, I said, okay, there's not a lot happening with a fix. I'll take the short. Took the short down to the 60. It's only back to the 60.50. It may carry on going through this afternoon. If you've got a piece rolling in the trading room, guys, you may want to leave a bit running down to the S1. Actually, it hasn't hit the R1, so it may run down to that S1 all the way down to 0928, but hit that target there anyway. So that's been hit. So, sorry, one thing I forgot was the netting up of the points today. So, this morning on the pound, the GPP, we went short. We went minus 25 pips on that this morning. This afternoon, then, okay, it's the game of two halves again, hey? We went euro and we went plus 42 on that. Netted, 17 pips. It's not a great Friday. It's not a bad Friday. Don't mind when we're making money. It's making money. It's the way it goes. 50-50, still profitable. Just making sure you got your win-loss ratios right. I would have liked to squeezed a bit more out of this, but and some people may still be holding some of this for further downside. But it's for now. It's given me the first target here, or the target here to the 50, and I'm happy. So I wish you all again a great Friday. Bye for now.